I'm Zach Limhouse, staff historian with the Culture and Heritage Museums of York County for Southern Sound Radio. Today, I'm blessed to be joined by a phenomenal Grammy-nominated musician, Miss Ruthie Foster. Ruthie's music transcends genre. She is a fantastic mix of gospel, soul, blues, folk, and jazz, and I'm very excited to get to talk with Ruthie today. Ruthie, thank you so much for joining me, taking some time out of your busy schedule to speak with me.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it, Zach.
Absolutely. So, Ruthie, I'd like to talk today a little bit about the history of the kind of music that you do, specifically for our purposes, the history of the Carolina Piedmont. But I understand you're not from the Carolinas. Where are you originally from, Ruthie?
I'm from east part of Texas. I really live in central Texas in Austin right now. So yeah, kind of grown up in between east and central part. So yeah, I own that.
How did you tell us a little bit? Let's go back to the beginning. Tell us a little bit about how you got into music.
Really by osmosis. I grew up in a gospel singing family, and they all still sing throughout parts of Texas. Really playing the piano next to my uncle in my early years, and eventually switching to guitar in my teenage years. I too traveled around Texas, different churches and communities, wherever I could, really, schools, all of that. And actually, I still do when I am home. I do try to get around a little bit. But yeah, music was in my family. Everybody sang. A few played a few instruments, but for the most part, singers. I grew up around incredible singers.
Gospel music, it has its roots in the spirituals from slavery, from the times of slavery, and it's interesting that black music has always been inextricably linked with social justice and the fight for social justice and civil rights. Whether we're talking about the spirituals during slavery or gospel music during the civil rights movement. And I specifically wanted to ask you about one wonderful song that I love. It's called "Death Came a Knockin'," and you do this song so beautifully, and I understand it has a very interesting story. Would you mind telling me a little bit about how you learned that song?
Yeah, Death Come a Knockin', also known as Traveling Shoes. Some people call it Traveling Shoes. It's been recorded quite a few times. It was recorded by the Georgia Sea Island Singers, as well as I think the Gospel Harmonizers. They recorded it way back in the 40s, I think. So, but I found the song while I was on a freedom ride, if you will. I went back to Charleston to vacation and ran across a friend of mine who was working at the College of Charleston, and he was putting together a documentary on basically retracing the Freedom Riders Trail. They were going to get a bus together with a lot of the folks from the community and people who were part of the civil rights movement in Charleston were on this bus, and they wanted me as a musician to come along and maybe even document the ride through song. And I had no intention of really writing anything, but I did end up writing a song called "Crossover" that talks about the civil rights movement, the workers that we ran into in Selma. And these people were teenagers when they crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge on that particular day that was later called Bloody Sunday. These people were teenagers during that period, and they gave us this incredible first account of what went on from that night up through the next night. And it really moved me. And so that's where a song called "Crossover" came from. But on this trip was a woman who was an actress from Charleston, and she shared with me this song, "Traveling Shoes," "Death Come a Knockin'." She said that her grandmother used to sing it, and that her grandmother lived in James Island. She grew up on James Island. And I heard this song, and it just moved me the way, first of all, it's a very simple song, and it's only one chord, but it's really about the spirit of the song. And I connected to it because a lot of my songs that I do live in my set are about songs that move me. And I think that when you're in front of people and you're singing, the energy that comes out of you goes out into the room and it comes back to you. And that's what this song does to me. Every time I get a chance to sing it, it's a moment to just stop and really remember the strength and the courage that it took to get through these times that these a lot of our ancestors went through. And I think that's what you're talking about with Black music and spiritual music in particular really talks about the strength and the endurance and what we all went through, and to celebrate that we got through it. That says it all with spiritual music. And it's a huge part of my show. It's a huge part of what I don't even really call it a show. It's a huge part of my message. When I'm performing live, I try to keep my message. That is the center point of my message, no matter what genre I end up going to. It may be reggae, it may be blues, but it's gonna be about strength, endurance, and getting to that other side. Yeah.
So you said that that was not your first trip to Charleston. You were actually stationed in Charleston for a while. You were with the Navy for a little bit?
I was in a Navy band in Charleston for 3 years, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your experience with the Navy band.
It was an awesome experience. I got a chance to play music and sing for a living. So, and yeah, I wore a uniform every day, but that didn't bother me either. I didn't have to think about what to wear. We played and performed throughout the Charleston community, pretty much throughout the Carolinas, the East Coast. We performed 3 Mardi Gras. I got a chance to travel. We went to Iceland, Puerto Rico, pretty much wherever the Admiral went for the bases. He took his band, and that was us. So I got a chance to travel. I actually learned a lot about how to be a traveling working musician during this period. That was really where I cut my teeth on how to travel, and how to travel with 7 guys in the back of a van and not lose your mind. you know, it gave me a chance to cut my teeth on how to work an audience, how to really be in the room musically, and bring yourself to the microphone. It was really important for me to learn that.
So you went on these freedom rides, kind of retracing the original freedom rides as they came through Charleston. And of course, Rock Hill here in York County, South Carolina, has a history with the freedom rides as well. The freedom riders came through Rock Hill. But we also have a history with sit-ins, nonviolent protests. Rock Hill's history with the sit-ins is with the Friendship Nine, a group of African-American students who did a peaceful sit-in at the McCrory's Five and Dime on Main Street here in Rock Hill. And they were arrested, and they refused to pay their bail, a movement called Jail No Bail. And you had a concert here with the Southern Sound Series here at the McKelvey Center back in 2015, I believe it was. And it was right after this arrest had been expunged from their records. And that happened in 1961, so they were arrested on January 31st, 1961, and it took until 2015 to get this incident expunged from their records. And 2 members of the Friendship Nine were in the audience that day, and you actually had them come up and sing a song with you. And I was there that day in the audience, and it was truly a moving experience. Can you speak a little bit on what it was like to perform for a couple members of the Friendship Nine, but also have them come up and sing with you?
I travel quite a bit. I'm just going to tell you. So a lot of the visits that I make are fuzzy, but that one does stand out for me, getting a chance to not only meet them, but actually hear their story and to show up and know their story too. It was huge for me to have them have their day and to lift their voices. I think it was important to have them basically tell their story through song, which I think we as a people, as Black people, we have always done. And it was really important for me to commemorate that particular moment by having them join me in song and telling their story through song. And it was just important. It was important to me that they were there. There are no words, really. When you think about what how long it took, for the records to be cleared like that. It was just huge. And they're good singers too.
They are great singers.
Awesome singers. Yeah. It just means a lot to me to even have had such a chance to have that moment together. It just reminded me of being on that Freedom Trail and retracing all of these events and standing in these spots where people went, knowing what these people went through, and we're standing on this spot and to see how far we've come and to see yet how far we have to go. We still got a ways to go, and we don't want people to forget that.
We need to, before we, I know we're doing 2 sets tonight. I don't normally do 2 sets, but this is a special night. You guys are special. And there is a special group here I want to dedicate this next song to. 1961, these college students sat in at a local diner. Come on now. It was McCrory's Five and Dime. Mm-hmm. Yes. And you were arrested. And you served time, 30 days, hard labor camp, instead of posting bail. And your influence spread onto a bigger movement that became the Civil Rights Movement. And I just heard that your convictions were just recently overturned. So we want to send a dedication of proudness and gratefulness to the Friendship Nine. We have a few of the members here tonight, and we want to say thank you. Thank you so much for standing for us so that we can stand for you. We gotta sing this song for you. And I'm not gonna be able to speak after, so we're gonna take a break after this. Thank you. Whoa, I woke up this morning with my mind. It was stayed on freedom. You wanna sing it with me? No? Okay now. I'll hold this note forever if you want to come on up. You can just lip sync and I'll sing it. Whoa, whoa. We got some steps over here. Yeah, come on. I want this. Get a picture. I want this. light, so we can probably get away with this. Yeah. Okay, all right. I woke up this morning with my mind. This morning with my mind stay on Jesus. Hallelujah. 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 Special part. You know I'm walking and talking with my mind. Stay on freedom. Oh, I'm walking and talking with my mind. Stay on freedom. I'm walking and talking with my mind. Stay on freedom. Hallelujah. 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 Oh, you know I'm singing and praying with my mind. Stay on freedom. Oh, I'm singing and praying with my mind. Stay on freedom. Singing and praying with my mind. Stay on Jesus. Hallelujah. 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 All right, Scotty, what you got? Singing and praying with my mind. Stay on Jesus. Oh, I'm singing and praying with my mind. Stay on Jesus. Oh, I'm singing and praying with my mind. Stay on Jesus. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, we're gonna take it back. Oh, you know there ain't no harm to keep your mind stayed on Jesus. Oh, there ain't no harm to keep your mind stayed on Jesus. Oh, there ain't no harm to keep your mind stayed on Jesus. Hallelujah. 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 Stay on Jesus. Hallelujah. 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 What a tribute.
Ruthie, you've had the opportunity in your life to interact with many different civil rights leaders, not just the Friendship Nine, most notably Maya Angelou and Mavis Staples, just to name a few. Can you tell me a little bit about how they have impacted your career musically?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, with Maya Angelou, Dr. Maya Angelou, I decided to record a song that was based on one of her poems, Phenomenal Woman. I had always known this as a poem, but I ran across a wonderful Canadian singer-songwriter, Amy Skye, who's still performing in the Edmonton area and parts of Toronto, now that I think about it. And she set the poem to music. And when I heard that, I told her, I'm singing this song. You can sing it too, but I'm going to put this song out. And I did want to get permission from Dr. Angelou's office. So we did get permission to record it and perform it. And so whenever I was in the area in North Carolina, I would hear from her, whether it's through a beautiful card, beautiful flowers. And it was just this incredible sentiment, that, she would even know who I am, yet alone giving me encouragement when I'm anywhere in the area near her. I got to where I would always put her name on my guest list whenever I was on the East Coast, just in case she decided she wanted to walk in and just have a sit with me.
Did she ever take you up on those invitations and come in and have a sit?
No, I never did get a chance to meet her face to face.
I'm sorry.
It meant a lot to me to know that she knew that the song was out there, and that just meant a lot to me. Plus, she did send me a copy of one of her books for my 50th birthday too, signed to me, and that was sweet too. So to even be remembered by someone like her just means a lot to me. And Mavis Staples, I can still say I consider her very much a friend. We run into each other once in a while touring. She's, I don't know, she's 80-something years young and still touring, still tearing it up out there, still laying down the word and keeping people straight. And that's Mavis. I get a chance to talk to her once in a while, and we get a chance to catch up every time we get anywhere near the vicinity of each other. We do tend to play at the same festivals, so once in a while it's nice to have a sit with her too. But yeah, two of the most incredible, strong, beautiful, beautiful spirited women. Yeah, I consider very, very dear to me. Yes.
Well, now, if you will, I'd like to give you an opportunity to toot your own horn, brag on yourself for a little bit. I want to ask you how you feel that your music has impacted traditional music today. I mean, obviously, traditional music changes over time, whether it be soul or blues or gospel. How has Ruthie Foster impacted music today?
Ooh, well, I can tell you what I hope it's doing, the music that I'm doing.
Well, please.
Yeah, I hope that it's changing hearts and minds, and I do hope that my music is impactful to people. I do once in a while get a chance to talk to my fans and people who turn into fans by the end of by the end of my concerts. So I do get a chance to hear how my music has impacted someone's life, and in some rare occasions saved a life. I do get that too, and that is so validating for me. I just got it last week when I played in Minneapolis. Someone said that particular night that my music has saved their life. So that says it all. I think, and I do believe that we're all put here to do something, to do good. And someone once said, if you're breathing, you're here for a reason. And if this is what I'm here for, then I'm good with that. If this is all I do. Mavis says the same thing. She says, as long as she's got breath, she's just going to keep singing. And I truly believe the same thing. I will keep singing as long as I got breath. May not be to a lot of people in the end. I'll sing for myself if I have to. But yeah, it's important. It's part of the reason I think I'm here. Yeah.
So, Ruthie, before we go, what is new in the life of Ruthie Foster? Do you have any new albums or anything like that coming out?
I have a brand new album that will be coming out, and it's called Healing Time. We're calling it Healing Time because it is about healing music, and it's so important. As I've said before with my music, I try to keep instilling that in everything that I sing and everything that I play. The songs are written by myself and my band. For the first time, we all got together and wrote and sent files back and forth to each other until we got enough songs. Got about a dozen songs that we put on this album, and I'm so looking forward to everybody hearing it. But yeah, it will be out real soon.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing it for one. Well, thank you so much, Ruthie, for taking some time to speak with me today.
Absolutely. Thank you.